I like this one. This is fun. What is the most useless thing of sex?
Ah! Oh, what a great question.
What is the most useless thing of sex?
Not having children.
The useless.
I'm just kidding.
The most useless thing.
Wow.
Male nipples.
Oh, that's
not.
good.
They are not useless. They are very sensitive.
Inverted nipples. Oh, wow.
Seen those.
That's funny.
You could do some cool stuff to male nipples.
Yeah.
He lets you. What is the most useless thing of sex? Wow, that's a hard question.
Yeah.
I guess it sort of depends on what part of sex are we talking about. Do you mean the act of sex? Is the most useless thing of the act of sex? Or the most useless thing of sex as a topic?
Invent what
What's the most useless thing?
I mean, I think the interesting
That's
concept
I
about
love
uselessness is that to a certain extent, art is useless as well. And to a certain extent, the really great things in the world are the useless things. There's a whole philosophies that talk about the inessential. And really, once you get to something that's inessential, you're doing something finally that you don't need to do, until Freud came along and completely pissed all over that and made us feel like we were doing everything because we were, programmed to do it in some bullshit way.
Too.
But I hate that guy. What?
Darwin did.
And
I hate that guy.
Darwin.
We're here to have sex.
Oh, right. Darwin said we're here to have sex. But there's the sex that right. But we have way much more sex than we need to just to procreate.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And so most of our sex is useless sex, and a blowjob is especially useless. And like all of that can be thought to be useless, which is really the glorious part of it because it makes us human, right? Or it makes us like the. Do you say bonobo or bonobo?
Usually bonobo, but I've heard
I said bonobo the other day, and someone who I trusted to have read said bonobo. And then 2 days later I said bonobo, and someone corrected me to bonobo.
Yeah, I think it's a tomato thing.
Okay, fantastic.
It's a car, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a car.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ford Bonobo.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Nice.
That would make things interesting.
Exactly. Yes.
The tragic part is, I'll bet you $1 million that it was some guy trying to get you to respond that the clitoris is the most useless part about sex. I'm sure he was feeding you.
I don't know.
Who knows? It's such a bizarre question.
It's not.
I'm willing to bet because you can't prove it.
Did you ever read that book, something about the debate over the male orgasm? That whole Gould, Stephen Jay Gould, controversial comment that the female orgasm was a spandrel, which is just this, because males have to have orgasms in order to ejaculate.
Oh yeah.
You can't really make things that different. It's like men having nipples. Men having nipples is a spandrel.
Right. Yeah, women have an orgasm because men
men have an orgasm. And feminist groups get all of it.
Oh yeah, but they're made from a rib.
I think that's great. First of all, it's science. But I think, who cares? I think the fact that the female orgasm could have no specific evolutionary purpose is brilliant. It makes your orgasm not some kind of evolutionary necessity, but it's just this wonderful thing.
Exactly. It's independent.
Yeah. It's the ethereal. Yeah, nothing. It's nothing that's needed, which makes it kind of this inessential, kind of brilliant thing, which is what I think about.
But I don't see how one can say. I mean, okay, so males have orgasms, they release sperm, so it's useful. Females have orgasms, and what that doesn't make us want to have more sex and possibly procreate?
No, of course. No, of course. But female pleasure would do that too, right? You wouldn't have to go all the way to the orgasm, because there are plenty of women who have sex their whole lives and don't have orgasms, or hopefully not too many. But there are women who have sex.
But then they like having sex.
Yeah, but sex is still pleasurable. You pick at a scab, it's still fun to pick at a scab. It's not only fun when you get the scab off.
That was an excellent analogy.
Analogy? Vote on my analogy.
Sure.
0 to 10.
With,
Female orgasm versus picking a scab.
Yeah.
You're not in any trouble at all.
Let's
go back to Indian accents. That was safer.
Yeah.
Terrible. Can we pretend that was purposely awkward? Purposely awkward
We're
analogy.
gonna get letters.
Anyway,
but
it's a great book.
It's almost kind them on a continuum, though. Okay, like sex is useless, but then it's also very useful. It's
Right.
kind of just like art. Like some people, if they didn't create art, would probably kill themselves. You know,
Right.
they'd be miserable. They'd be dying. You know,
Well, this is a fundamental philosophical question. Do we exist to procreate, or do we procreate to exist?
Right. Right.
Does existence the purpose and procreation simply the tool, or is procreation the purpose and existence simply
Right.
how we do that?
Right, like the selfish gene thing, which I thought went way too far. That selfish gene theory, that like we're just basically robots ordered around by our genes to propagate and blah blah blah. And I think that I don't know. I think it's a dismal kind of
Yeah, that's not as fun.
No.
Anyway,
But
what happens if you masturbate too much?
no, one time
Get tired.
you get tired.
You get tired.
I'll tell
Maybe a
you.
little raw.
it presupposes the concept of too much.
Right.
Right.
That's too much.
When I was in 8th grade or possibly 9th grade, a girl in my class was super sexy, and she was new to the class, and she was from a farm, which I think made her like a little bit less abashed about sex. She would straddle the pole on her pupil's desk and slowly rub up and down in her jeans. And
Oh my God!
it was like, oh my God, this is not happening. I was so freaking excited. And I like masturbated so much for a week after that started that I really hurt myself at one point. And I was like, anyway, it was just so, just like rubbing
raw.
skin off,
Yeah.
like a raw. And I was like,
So that's probably too much.
that's too much. When
Right.
you give yourself a scab, that when you get an erection at all, it hurts. And that's my thing, I guess.
Use
Every
lube.
other scabs in it.
Yeah.
Use lube.
Yeah, don't use soap. Because
Lube.
I was a kid
Yeah.
and I was using
No
soap.
lotion. No
Yeah.
soap.
Yeah. You know aloe vera. Anybody use aloe vera? Pure aloe vera. Like hippie
Pure,
store.
not
Yeah.
mixed with stuff.
No, not mixed
Not
with
with an alcohol
lidocaine.
base or
Not
lidocaine.
that.
Or
Oh,
alcohol.
that's not good. Jeez.
Yeah.
Make it all go numb. That
Yeah,
doesn't work.
exactly. That would work.
Ugh.
Yeah, I used to make lidocaine in my early
I remember
pharmaceutical
when you were
days.
doing pharmaceutical.
Yeah. I've got, can a penis ever be too big for a vagina? Oh, boys wish.
Yes.
Yeah, it can be.
Can be.
No, it can.
Depends on
You
the
can
vagina.
always surprise a woman.
Surprise.
You can always do a little bit of a surprise, which is sometimes fun in a very gentle way to.
Yeah, don't just
No,
go ram
don't
it.
just ram it in. But it's sometimes fun to do the minimal foreplay entry and then go back and do all the other fun stuff. But every once in a while, it's kind of fun to just not in a painful way.
But
I feel like I've just encouraged
vaginas
people to
are
try something.
adaptable.
Yes.
Right.
So vaginas can adapt to a different penis size.
Right. So if you start out being too big for most women, unless it's like a really serious size mismatch,
Right,
If you
and which
start-
happens.
which does
We're not all the
happen.
same size.
But if you're hitting a woman's clitoris, if you're hitting a woman's cervix,
You're probably a little long.
you're probably, or she's just not aroused yet.
Right, or she's not
Just
aroused enough.
back it
because
on out
all
and get
of that
down there.
stretches out.
Yeah. The cervix,
Right.
exactly. That's what I always do. If I go in and I bang into a woman's cervix, I say, "Excuse me."
Be
My
polite.
bags are in the way.
Back
Be
it up.
polite.
Be polite, exactly. Pardon me. Oh, pardon me. What have I done?
Indeed. So what happens if the sperm dries on the skin and it gets absorbed in it? Can it cause toxins?
Oh, I love it. It's hilarious. That's great. Slapping my knee. It's knee slapping good time.
No, in general.
I love that they're thinking that sex just produces toxins.
Sex
though.
produces toxins.
Mhm,
Sperm is automatically. Now, some people are allergic to some people's sperm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's true.
Some people are allergic to some people's sperm.
Right.
It's a wrong acid base,
Oh, is that what
Thing
it is?
going
It's a
on.
pH.
wrong pH thing happening.
Interesting.
And so I don't think it's surface skin. I think it's vaginal.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
intravaginal.
Right,
So
it's mucous membrane.
it's mucous membranes getting in there. So that could, just the sperm could cause a little something bad happening there.
Right.
But the question was right on the skin.
But on the skin, drying on the skin, no, just you can flake it off.
Yeah.
You know, it's like paste. You just flake it right off.
Yeah.
You wash
don't
it off
have
too.
to let it dry either.
But you don't have to
You don't have
you
to
can
let
wipe it off
You can wipe it off immediately
It's
if you want.
Yeah, but ew. That's probably what they're thinking.
Right.
No, ew.
Ew. No, it won't. It won't just cause toxins.
No, I love that idea though.
It won't do
It's so
that.
freaking toxic. Do you have one?
Yes. When you have oral sex, should you spit or swallow?
Oh, that's interesting.
It's a style issue.
Yeah.
Style issue.
It's up to you. You should talk about that. I don't know. What do you want to do? Do you want to spit or swallow? What does he want you to do? Do you want to do it? I don't know.
And I think guys who are obsessed with swallowing, I'm obviously not obsessed with swallowing because I've never come during a blowjob anyway, but I think guys that are obsessed with swallowing have an acceptance fetish. You know, they just want to be accepted. Like they want, I don't know. I don't think it's like a dirty porn thing that they're like, I mean, maybe guys could be influenced by porn, like all girls swallow, don't they? Don't all girls?
Yeah, but 90% of porn, there's an outside cum shot.
Right,
on
right.
the
Oh,
face.
that's true. Oh, you're right. You're right.
And,
There's no
and even if they
swallow.
get it in the mouth, they spit it out.
They spit it out.
Generally.
That's
I think
true.
it's kind of territorial. Like,
Yeah, like you.
Got you. I've marked you.
Right, you take everything that comes out of me. I think, yeah. I mean, yeah, and it could be it's
It'd be
territorial.
very
as
hot and
well.
sexy.
Yeah.
I think that's
Although-
all true, but there is one other big concern, I think. Because 9 times out of 10, at least in my personal experience and guys that I've talked to, it's not about her swallowing. It's about her not stopping right when you come.
That's true. There's a technical
You don't have to
aspect to
swallow it, but at least don't stop right then. And go, poof, and
that's
right.
that kind
Don't
of
act like I'm gross at that exact moment.
well, it kind of
Also-
ruins the orgasm if all sensation ceases because
Right.
you just pull out. It's like, that's why we don't like that whole pull out method either.
Right.
Not that I want to come inside you necessarily for the territorialness of coming inside you. It's if I'm starting to climax and then you pull out and you're gone, I'm all on my own.
You're gone.
Like
a backflip.
you know?
But it's one of those things that this question should be answered before you start having sex with that person.
Certainly before you start having oral sex with
Before you start
Right.
having oral sex with
That's
that
a good
person,
point.
determine whether or
them.
not
Where's this going?
that's
Literally.
okay.
Yeah, 'cause
because
you
for
can
some
get an
people it
STD.
is, and some people it's not, and you can transmit STDs that way.
Right.
Which again would happen just from pre-coital fluid anyway. It's not even a
Could,
question of
indeed,
orgasm.
indeed. But still, it's important to. You shouldn't ask that right as it's going on. By
Yeah.
the way,
Probably not. Although in the heat of a first exchange, I think if a woman pulls out and obviously doesn't want you to come in her mouth like that, I think that's a sign that she
Sure.
wouldn't want that to
Sure.
happen. Although
the best case scenario.
Yeah.
We should have talked.
I will also say, in defense of men, that you ladies have no idea how much discharge we eat. A lot. We end up eating a lot of lady juices. There's a lot. It doesn't. Oh, lady juices. Does that make you sexy when I tell you that? A sexy talk. I'm making sexy talk. But I think women don't appreciate just because we get it like one little bit at a time, and you just get it all at once. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
I just like to say it's not as
I
inequitable.
wonder if it's
as
a
you
texture issue.
could be. No, look. If you think it's gross, it's gross. Great. We
And they do
want it.
taste different. Male ejaculate tastes different than female.
That's true. It's not always like rose water down there.
That's
by the way.
true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, everybody's different. Everybody tastes
everybody's
different.
Yeah,
Everybody
does
does that
taste
taste different.
Yeah, it's true. I once dated a woman who said she would never swallow or let it go in her mouth of a smoker because it was really dense, but that you could eat parsley and stuff and it would get. I don't know. That was her thing. This is something I actually have a question about. Is that what if you douche or I have an opinion about. What if you douche your anal passage to make it clean or to have anal sex? Would it make? By the way, this person punctuated correctly. There's a question mark and then a lowercase w.
Hey!
Oh no, they didn't punctuate because this is a full
We're
sentence
not
too.
around there.
Would it make the oral passage cleaner with less chance of STDs?
The anal.
I think they meant
The
that.
anal passage cleaner with less chance of STD. I am not a fan of the whole obsessive enemas before anal sex because I just think that you're stripping any kind of natural lubrication and protection that's in the rectum anyway. And then, you know, you're probably not replacing with enough lube. And I think you're more likely to annoy the rectum than anything. And then I think the person who's receiving anal sex is probably more likely to get an STD if you annoy
Right,
them.
because you're creating friction
You're creating
and
friction.
little micro.
Yeah, abrasions and stuff like
Microabrasions.
that. It's very sensitive in there.
It
That's
is.
my
It's
opinion.
very sensitive.
I don't do
Well,
that.
if you clean or not, you're going to want to use lube because there's not a lot of natural lubrication.
No.
going on.
You use lube.
Gotta use lube.
So the
Essential.
cleaning is
And
not
you
the
should
issue.
use water-based.
Water-based lube gets absorbed immediately. You should not use water-based lube.
Should use.
However,
Uh-huh.
whether you use an enema or not, clean out or not, it will be cleaner, but it's not going to prevent transmission of STD regardless,
Right,
whether
right.
you do or not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The enema's not going to help you on the STD side, I
No.
think, at
Right.
all.
It won't
I
clean
think
out
it
an
would.
STD.
No.
Right.
I think it would, and I think it would
It-
more likely hurt on the STD side.
Right.
Also, I think, you know what? I think if you are so into butt sex, you gotta accept a little poop every now and then. That's kind of what it's about.
The man who was putting down the martini side just a while ago.
No, I don't seek after the poop, but I think if you have
That's a
some
build up of
massive
small arms.
paranoia about running to poop every once in a while, you might not want to be in the
It goes with the territory.
It goes with
It goes with
indeed,
the
sir.
And to be quite honest, it can happen during vaginal sex too.
That's right.
Right. It's
Even during oral sex.
Even during oral sex.
right.
You know, because just muscles start working
Right.
and things spasm and
If you're doing it right,
things happen.
I've been surprised on more than one occasion.
Things
Wow.
happen. Things
James Joyce called his wife farting Nora
happen.
in his sexual.
How'd she get the name?
I don't know. That's a good question. We must do some literary research to find this out.
Versus queefing.
Was her name actually Nora?
Nora, her name.
Right, because that would be weird.
That's the
Yeah,
big
that would be
question.
the weird. And her name wasn't even Nora. Good one. I like it.
That's good.
There's a bit of vaudeville going on in here.
That's been great.
Oh,
right.
those were a delight.
They're
It's the
fun.
dry roasted
They're
peanut
fun.
gallery back here.
They're fun.
Nice. That's
Well,
great.
thank you very much.
This
for
has
coming
been
by.
a hoot.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other
Nora was
since the
sitting
baby
over
came
there.
Too long. I know. I haven't done many
Thank
things.
you,
I could make a
Ryan.
list of things.
Get you out. Doesn't happen.
No,
Good. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to get you out to lunch before the next one comes. in.
definitely. For sure. Well, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you so much.
And thank you,
Appreciate it.
Christina. This was wonderful. Good luck with the baby.
All right, so if you haven't already, you can go to Amazon and you can find How to Make Love to Adrian Colesberry. It is a hoot. It's a great book. It's a lot of fun to read, and not very expensive. And
No.
and the graphs are fantastic
Graphs.
for all of you.
I am an
nerdy,
engineer. Yeah, keep
For
it
all,
nerdy.
for all of you nerdy, geeky, kinky people out there,
Let's
these
fill in the
are
flow
sex
chart.
graphs.
Decision
It's great.
charts.
Flow charts. There are bar graphs. There's all sorts of things going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
So we will see you guys live next week with Grandpa Nante.
Graham is great. Come back for that.
Yes.